Hello pilots and ground crew, welcome back to my channel again. Well, I've got a tip about soldering and something you should own. Now I know most people who's been in this hobby a while already know all this, but this is something for like newer pilots, right? Or you may just not know about this actually, this soldering wick. Right, now what it is, when you've got your flight control board, let's say, right, or anything you're soldering, and you've got two pads real close to each other. If I remember, I'll put some up. And you've got two pads real close to each other, and the solder spreads over. So we've all done that, right? So you spend ages cleaning your soldering iron and trying to drag it and to split the solder up, and then a lot of the time it'll work, but sometimes it'll bubble and sometimes it'll just go even further onto the next pad and the next pad, and you get frustrated. And some people that they use one of them, which is alright for big jobs, right, but for a tiny little, if you're using a micro board or sort of like a whoop size board, flight control board, no good. They use them gun things, them air pressure guns, right, but they work great if there's a big blob of solder, but if it's somewhat small it's awkward. Well, what you should be using, and I say should be because you should be using it, right, it'll make your life a lot simpler, right. I've been meaning to make this video for about a year, and it's one of them things, something else comes up and then you forget for ages, and then something else comes up and then you forget again for ages, right. And what it is, it's a soldering wick. For want of a better word, it's a piece of mesh. I'll show you it and I'll show you it working. It's a piece of mesh that's like a sponge to solder. It sucks up the solder and you can clean your pads nice and neat and stuff. So that's enough waffle. Let's get down to the bench, right, and I'll show you it working basically. Okay then, to the bench. Alright then, I've just got an old board here. Right, it's bust, it's knackered, it's no good, but there's a couple of few nice clean pads on there, so I can show you what I'm talking about. Right, let's just whack a bit of solder on here. I'm not being neat about it. It'd help if I put some solder on my tip first. Just want to get some solder on. There. Now let's see if we can get them to join together. Probably won't be able to when you want. Oh, that one has. No. Well, them two at the front have. So you'll just have to pretend, use your imagination that it's all got stuck together and everything. And you might try putting a bit more solder on your tip, and you might try rubbing it off and trying to move it around. Oh, it actually worked, sod's law. Sometimes it does, as you could see, sometimes it does, right? But occasionally, and most of the time, you might spend ages just running your soldering iron over it. Look, we've got a bit more blobbed up there. But as I said, there's an easy way. It's this solder wick stuff. Oops, hope you can see that. And it's bloody good stuff. It's cheap and it's easy to use, and as I said, it's like a sponge. All you do is hold it over your area and just apply heat to the top, and it soaks it up. See, I don't know if you can see that, but them pads there now are pretty damn clean, because look, all the solder's gone on there. And the reason why it's cheap is you can't keep it, you just cut the end off. Right, and then that would be it. As it is, we'll just clean this up while we're here. Just make it a bit tidier. It does sometimes help actually if you put a tiny bit of solder on your iron before you start. Just a tiny bit of solder. Let's just clean these pads up completely. All you're doing is putting the wick on top, heating it up. I hope you can see that, because that solder's just vanishing. And pads are all nice and clean now. Now I hope you can see that, but them pads there, they're back basically to the original pads. Right, they're all nice and clean and flat, and there's practically zero solder left on them. There's nothing on there at all. If you wanted to get it completely clean, just go over it again. Now them pads are completely and utterly clean now. Right, there's literally a surface covering of solder on them, but they are spot on, dead clean, all ready to go again. I hope you can see that. I'll try and zoom in a bit more, but I don't know if the zoom will work. Hope you can see that, but them pads are dead clean again. Right, and the rest of the solder's just gone on there, so you just snip that little bit off again. It's cheap stuff, it's not expensive, and it's not as if you're going to be using it every single time, but it's worth picking up, because yeah, we all know, as it happened to work with me, if you scrape it, a lot of the time you just get the solder off, but sometimes you can be at it so long you start to heat your board up and it won't work, you're getting frustrated and stuff like that. And this stuff is a godsend, and it should be in everybody's kit for soldering. Well, there you go then. It's bloody handy stuff, right? And it's cheap. You pick it up all over the place. Right? If I remember, I'll leave a link to some, like maybe one off eBay, but you can get it. Most decent model shops will sell it. Not all, unfortunately, not all. Right? You'd be surprised, a lot of model shops don't sell it. But, and you figure they would actually, because it's very, very handy. As you could see, it works brilliant, and it's cheap. eBay, Amazon, all over the bloody place. You can get it from banggood.com. Like I says, if I remember, I'll leave a link or something, but just look around, just type in solder wick and you'll find loads of it all over the place, and it's very handy, does the job great, and it cleans up your pads nice and neat. Okay then, pilots and ground crew, hope this helps, and I'll leave it there. So cheers.